Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Adrian Sanders again, representing Sanders Games, representing this game called Galaxy Protector. This is the 5th update, and I have to apologize, I have been slacking on this. I'm going to a lot more time to work on it, and that's the end of my apologies. So, here we have some updates. Right now I have a bug, as you can see. I believe this is just because of the way that I'm using arrow keys now. It has to do with the level layout. We'll talk about that later. The first thing that you're going to notice is now we have, that is our basic enemy type ship art. So Jay has made that. It rotates, and if you haven't noticed already, all of our ships, they all have an eye, so to speak. I'm going to cheat right now and turn on the level layout, or the level editor. But if you look down here at the bottom of the screen, you see how they have a little red dot. Those are eyes. Can I zoom in? Yes, I can. Those are eyes. And the idea behind this is that they're kind of like HAL something thousand. I don't really know the reference. I think it's from the Space Odyssey. I'm a terrible nerd. I'm sorry, but whatever. Anyway, the idea is that they all have an eyeball, and we're thinking about making the boss ships kind of like the mothership, kind of like in StarCraft, and what do you call it, Ender's Game, where they all have this unified mind. So they all have an eyeball there. Here's our basic enemy type ship again. I'm not going to explain this yet, but I'm going to lay some out here. So they have eyes, they rotate, the turrets are all around. So that justifies it spinning and shooting at the same time. So aside from these eyes here, these little projecting things should be projectiles. So I'm gonna let it go. You see there that they're spinning. So that's a very, very cool idea. Thank you, Jay, for that. And now the only other thing we're going to talk about, which is going to take a while, is the level editor. So if you remember before, we were trying to use something here, where it would say, this is the type of enemy ship I want. It's waiting this long. It has a Y position of, this is a percentage on the screen, and the Y velocity. Right, so we're actually going to be changing, not getting rid of this, but changing the way this works. So the way the waves will be created now is by pointing and clicking, but we'll be able to output information about the wave in a text document, but using a literal like this. So if you don't know what a literal is, it's just a group of variables that describe an object literal. Alright, so back to the game. I'm going to refresh. And so this first ship is what is seen here in the code. Okay, this is what it thinks that it is as a wave. Also, you notice I have an output here. Keep this in mind. So, here we go. Gotta refresh. Blah blah blah, I'm playing again. I am the editor, so I'll hit E. And now we are in edit mode. So, Chris helped me set this up. This is fantastic, and thank you. And it's actually, we're not using anything else to make this. This is just bare bones. So, if we go into level editor, it's just pretty simple. There's a there's a function that says draw what you see when we're in the editing mode with stuff. And here is the output level. We'll talk about that in a second. So now, refresh, edit mode. So I can go, I want frogs. I'm going to click that. I have the frogs highlighted. Anywhere on the screen I click will be where the frogs will be placed. I'll put a kamikaze guy in there, and a heavy, why not? I also have a delete button. Hit this. If this is selected, any ship, or it could be any ships that are underneath the cursor, especially if I make something that's like this, I'll hit delete. Yeah, get rid of it. I didn't do it all at once. Let me do this again. I can just hit delete, it'll get rid of all of them, I can start over. Okay, so the point of this is that, it makes it easier. I'm cheating by doing that. It makes it easier for someone to just come in and say, well, I want to make a level, so I'm going to go over here, put these guys down, You know, it's more of a GUI instead of having a typing code, because we know how much people love code. Sarcasm. So, you notice I did this. We are scrolling along now. We started in editing mode, starting at a time of 0. When I hold the left and right arrow keys, I get to move to a position in time, quote unquote time. So they're not drawn unless they're on the screen. You see how they kind of, the basic guys on the right kind of pop away. That's just to conserve drawing. Having to draw everything at once. Same thing on the other side. So with the timeline, so this just makes it a timeline, so I can say about 8 or about 10 after those guys, I'll make, I don't know, I'll make 3 guys here. And they can of course be out there. I can move along, put in a basic. And so now I have this kind of thing, and yeah, this kind of thing. We made it to where when I hold down the right and left arrows, it as close as possible to the way the debris floats. So about the same speed to get you a realistic feeling for how these things are going to be coming in. And you know, this is when the actual plotting of the level happens. It's going to take a little time to say, oh, this feels good, this doesn't feel good. And so if I go, actually it wouldn't matter where I don't have to reset this. If I go down to the end and I hit E to say, alright, I'm done editing, we'll start off with everything that I put in, and then eventually all those Frogger guys will come and see like that. And lots of noise, but you know, that's probably one of the cooler experiences I had. Chris helped me a lot in setting that up. Let's see, I don't think it's not gonna refresh if I do it again. So now, if I hit edit, basic, scroll, heavy, scroll, commies. Alright, so I have this. You may be asking me, well, how in the world, if I hit E to escape that mode and I go, everything is lost when I get back in. So what we can do now, this is where this press S comes in handy. So if I hit it, now we haven't done this to where it prints out to a text document yet, but it prints out what has been created so far on the console. So this just shows that this on the screen is the reverse. This stuff is representation of this. So for example, at time 0, I have oh no, we actually don't have time in this yet. Let's look at this. We have the type of ship, we have the X position of the ship, and that could be huge because you're scrolling all along here. And we have the Y position. Okay. So and these are enumerated in the code. So the basic ships are a 0. These guys are a 2. You know, if I put down a heavy, it'd be a 3. And each one has their X and Y position. So we can take this, put it in a text document, and have that be, you know, it runs this output level. And right now we're just saying it's somewhere, but it's just printing to the console. But instead we can print it to a text document and save that as level 1. Once we do that, level 1 will consist of, these are in the final literals, but you know, these things, these guys are going to be object literals, so that we can just throw it in and spit it out in kind of an array, and that can be spit out into a text document and be saved as, that's my level 1 done. And then when you run the game, we'll just say open level 1 and lit all the ships that are there according to their enumerated values and positions. That will be my level layout. So, level layout just meaning what ships come when. So, that was a lot of talking, and actually not that many features, but the level editing process was very interesting. It's going to take a lot more tweaking and finishing, but that is all I have for now. We will have more updates. I'm going to be rushing the next couple of weeks to catch up. This isn't secret, but I guess you can look at this. So this is what we are behind on. Let's see, finishing the level editor. Now we're going to go on to bosses and such. Art for projectiles, that won't take too long. There should be some music. We need to spruce up the past music and add another song. What was due yesterday is title screen stuff. Programming won't be too bad, and art for the bosses. And then the following week we will have art for the title screen and the HUD. We'll be polishing things, and we'll work on just music for the boss fights. So the reason why I just listed this stuff, well, I wrote this out here for the YouTube page, but I wrote it out because this is going to be a condensed time frame. So I'm not going to break this up into weeks. I'm just going to work on each one as fast as possible, trying to catch up to here. This is what's supposed to be due on the 23rd, or so the Friday of next week. Once I sit down and work on it, it won't take too long. And my support crew has been awesome with their stuff. Jay's been really helpful. Chris has been really helpful. And Mark is going to be helping out with the level layout stuff, and which is going to be cool because now it's going to be graphical. So that's all to come. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will talk with y'all later.